Jesus and asked him, "Which is the first of all the commandments?" Jesus replied, "The first is this: Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is Lord alone. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second is this: you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other commandment greater than these." The scribe said to him, "Well said, teacher. You are right in saying he is one, and there is no other than he. And to love him with all your heart, with all your understanding, with all your strength, and to love your neighbor as yourself is worth more than all burnt offerings and sacrifices." And when Jesus saw that he answered with understanding, he said to him, "You are not far from the kingdom of God." And no one dared to ask him any more questions. The Gospel of the Lord.
I figure if you can sit, I can sit. Usually the day after I end up doing some physical therapy, my one leg sometimes just doesn't cooperate too much, like your kids. So, I'm hesitant. Well, first of all, I got to tell you, did you not love the opening prayer? And I smiled during the opening prayer because it says, "May I make haste without stumbling." For me, that's something every day. No, I've gotten rid of the part about making haste, but the part about stumbling. And for me, that's such a powerful thing. I have to watch so carefully. So now I want to do something which is not appropriate for a homily. And I'm going to ask you to help me because I'd like you to visualize something. I'm going to ask, and there's a reason. Please, if you just tolerate, because this is a change from, I think, a normal homily, although I'm not sure I've ever done a normal homily. I would like 33 people, men, but specifically men, to stand just for a minute. I'm going to ask over here, would a man stand? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I think we have our I'd like you to look at these men. They come in different sizes, skin tones. They're young, they're old, some with children in hand. Some have goatees, some can't grow them. Okay, but I'd ask you to sit down. Now, I do that for a specific reason. Tomorrow is also All Saints' Day. And I know some things. But today it struck me with such power that the first 33 bishops of Rome were martyred for their faith. For over 200 years, everyone who became Bishop of Rome, not one died in his own bed. Each one took their terms in salt mines, marble quarries. They were executed, burned. For over 200 years, each man, and they were a variety of men, young and old, talented workers with their hands, mechanics. One by one, the community asked them to serve as Bishop of Rome. And you know, with families, most of them, of course, were married, had families. But the first 33 popes carry the title saint and martyr. In some ways, when people diminish the papacy, in some ways, this is just an idle thought, the popes deserve that role within the church. 33 men. What if you were number 23 and they said, Joe, would you consider being Bishop of Rome? Wife, 5 kids. It's an extraordinary list. We don't know, how many of us, we know almost nothing about their lives. Now, I bring that up because twice in our readings today, first from the book of Deuteronomy, and then Jesus quotes from the book of Deuteronomy. And he says, love the Lord with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul. As I was reflecting on that this past week, I thought, I don't know what does that mean? It seems to me too big to get my hands around and to understand it. And during the week, I kept looking for a translation. I didn't know if this was a Semitic way of expressing totality of dedication to God, if it was a symbolic kind of thing. But for me, I finally translated it in my mind to mean all in. And for me, that was an intriguing question. Are you all in? Not 50%, not 80%, not 90%. But are you all in following the Lord? That's really, I think, a vital question. You know, our Jewish neighbors, over thousands of years, that prayer, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord your God is one," or alone is God, that composed their morning prayer and their evening prayer. When they went to their homes to pray, there was a little cylinder on the door containing that prayer. "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is Lord alone. You may not have another God." The pious Jew frequently, when he prayed, had a little, something like the size of a matchbox with leather straps. And the leather box would be tied to his forehead and another one on his wrists, containing that simple injunction, "Hear, O Israel, The Lord is your God. There's only one God. Basically, all in? Question mark. Are you all in? Not unusual. We'll hear about if you're going to join something, hope you're all in. Certainly, most of the people in this church, when you celebrated the sacrament of matrimony, you said, I am all in. I give you my body. I give you my soul. I give you even the most intimate parts of my personhood. I give you my tomorrows. I give it to you without condition. I am all in. If one enters into the sacrament of matrimony without being all in, it is not really, truly, completely a sacrament. The priest will say, are you here freely? Can you do this? Are you willing to commit till the day you die? Are you open to bringing life into the world? Are you all in or not? Many people, of course, enter that not all in, with reservation. Jesus says, the perfect commandment, to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with your mind, and your neighbor. Are you all in? Some people begin, of course, with great intention, with great joy, with great emotion. It's almost by steps, one by one, we withdraw a piece of straw. One by one, we take them back to the point where we are no longer all in. We compromise our following of the Christ. We compromise our reaching out to the poor. But I'd like you to think about, are you all in? I mean, do you belong to the Christ? Like the first 33 bishops of Rome. Are you willing to do prison? Are you willing to lose your fortune? Are you willing to work in the mines until you can no longer walk and die? Are you all in? Now, I want to take this just a step further, if I may. But I hope husbands and wives today can maybe pick up that topic again in their own marriages. Hey, maybe things have gotten dull. Hey, maybe we've drifted apart. But can we not recommit to being all in our families, in our marriages, in our church, in following Christ? I have such enormous regard for the Jewish people who in the darkest, most challenging centuries of their existence, even in prisons and jails, would wake up in the morning no longer having a little piece of paper in a box, but start the day of pain. Hear, O Israel, there is just one God, and I will seek today to know him, love him, and serve him. even in the midst of pain and suffering. I'm all in. Well, by God's grace, tomorrow, of course, is a great feast day, but I want to just remind you, since it's on a Monday, it's not a day of obligation. But tomorrow, of course, is All Saints' Day. You know, saints have come continuously from the time of Christ's passion and death. I mean, fishermen, teachers, kings over the centuries, legislators, police officers, military, husbands and wives, mothers, grandmothers, men and women maybe who wouldn't have said, I'm all in. But that's the way they lived. You know people who have lived that way, all in the service of God, in the service of Christ, in the service of their family, not really counting the cost, but all in. We know we can't do that on our own, so that's when we come to the Eucharist. We come to this table. We need God's grace. We need His wisdom, His word, and we need His sacrament this week if we're going to be all in serving the Christ, His people, our families, and His church. To Christ be the glory, now and forever. Yeah, come. Okay, very good. Just a little bit.